All right, guys. Episode 3, Roast and Toast Baseball Radio. Let's get right into it, fellas.
So back.
Yeah, Gerrit Cole just had some imaging done on his right elbow. What does this mean for the Yanks?
Not good at all. Yeah, this is exactly what Yankees fans were not looking forward to see when they opened Twitter yesterday afternoon.
I know a lot of
Uh,
people are pissed right now, man. A lot of people are
they're
pissed.
pissed for many reasons. They're pissed because there's no update on it, and all they got told is he probably won't be ready for opening day. And they're pissed because what do they do from here? What are your
Yeah, what
thoughts
do
on what
they
they
do
should
from
do from
here?
here? Yeah. I don't know. Does this push Snell to New York? Does this push the agenda that they need to go panic and get a move? This could be good for Snell's market. This could be, oh, you're panicking. You need a new pitcher. Sign me.
Yeah. So what's the deal with the imaging? What do you know about that?
So I was reading into it. They just said they're doing more tests today and they'll know later in the week. I don't think that's ever a good sign you hear when you have to hear more tests for your top ace's arm. I know that he just had a setback. It was more he couldn't come back quicker as he usually has between starts, which is just not what you're looking for, especially this
Yeah.
spring training.
Yeah, it sounds similar to the Kodai Senga thing, like he wasn't recovering well between starts. I think Nestor had that same issue last year too,
Hmm.
Cortez. Um, so I don't know. I feel kind of the opposite. I feel like the fact that he needs to get more imaging done means it's inconclusive and it's
Yeah,
probably maybe not as bad, but I mean, you still don't want to get more testing done, but it sounds like if it was really, really bad, they would already know, right? I don't know.
that's what I was thinking too. I know I saw some reports from Twitter yesterday on Andy Martino. He said that it was precautionary more everything else, but let's just hope that it's not much more than that because as much as the Yankees fans argue with everyone else in MLB, you never want to see a top pitcher down. You never want to see a guy like him just out for a while. It would just be not good for baseball.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, he's one of at his top best. He's one of the most fun pitchers to watch ever. Just
Hmm.
almost like a DeGrom. I'm not going to compare the both or say who's better or not, but just he's up. I would say he's up in that caliber though. Of watching somebody who's as surgical as he is on the mound, it's one of the most fun things to watch on a baseball field.
Yeah. He's super, super talented. There's not much else you could say about the guy. Although I listen to a lot of Mike Francesa, and he's a big Yankees fan. And he hates Gerrit Cole.
Why?
He hates him. I don't know why.
Why?
He's just like, he's not a big game pitcher. And I'm just,
He is.
he hates Gerrit Cole, but I know he's probably freaking out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you're the Yankees, who would you rather sign, Montgomery or Snell?
Snell.
I'd say Snell. I was talking to some Yankee fans this weekend, and they were just saying that they don't think that Montgomery would even want to come back to New York based off how he was treated and was just let go so easily. So I think
Hmm.
that that might have burned a bridge right there for Montgomery. So I think Snell is the option right there for New York.
Okay.
I'm reading an article now that says actually that came out 2 hours ago. Yankees still not interested in Snell after Cole injury,
Ooh.
Hmm.
according to SNY's Andy Martino.
Oh yeah, Andy Martino. He's
Oh,
been
Andy
good. He's been
Martino.
good recently,
He
though.
has been good recently.
Yeah.
He does not have a good track record, but that's
No.
a whole other day as Mets fans we've seen. I was just looking at Gerrit Cole, and in his past history, he really hasn't had much arm and elbow injuries in his past. He only missed two times with the Pirates back in 2016 with elbow inflammation, but this is the first time he's ever dealt with something in his arm, which I would say is a good thing that this is the only hiccup right now that is seen. But I don't know. One pitch can change one tingle in the arm, and turns out your UCL's gone. So hopefully that is not the case.
Hmm. Yeah, I hope so as well. But speaking on that piece, with Blake Snell, is he being unsigned or him and Montgomery being unsigned at this point? I mean, It's March 12th. We are 8 days away from the first game between the
Ooh,
Dodgers and Padres in Seoul, Korea. Um, I mean, it's insane that they're both still unsigned. Like, what's going on?
crazy.
I feel like it hasn't. This has happened before though. Like a bunch of late signings happened right
Mhm.
before, so I'm not too surprised by it. To be honest, I'm not going to be surprised if they hold out to the last day, just try to get the best bid from somebody.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not that worried about it. But I can definitely see how it's like in like this. Like I can see your point, Will, that it might be like alarming to some people. Like, why aren't these people signed yet? Like, what are people thinking?
Yeah, I agree. Demetrius, what do you think?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I agree that they are probably just trying to drive up their market for each other, but at the same time, it's weird because Snell was literally the NL Cy Young winner. Like I know people get precautionary of him that he's just doesn't eat innings and is just a 5 inning merchant, but he did just win the Cy Young. So I think it's weird, honestly. I think there's still some weirdom in there.
Yeah, um, it
What do
is.
you think, Will?
It is really bizarre. I know this has happened before. I feel like it's only MLB that has this issue out of the major
Hmm.
American sports. We don't have like a salary cap, although the luxury tax is essentially a soft cap now. Teams still seem to not want to go over it. I don't. I mean, that certainly has to be part of it. And then there's always been Boris guys that are out there really, really late. What are your guys' thoughts on Scott Boris?
I think he's a
He's
great
just
agent, but he does want the most money for his clients, and I'll give him that. That's his biggest tick. He wants his clients to get paid the value they deserve. But it does seem weird that both of these guys are Boris guys who are still unsigned. So I think that is just, I don't know, not huge into the fact that he is always purposely holding out for all of his guys who might have had options in his career, like we talked about last episode, Matt Chapman, Boris guy. He had the option to get a 9 year contract. However, he tried pushing it as much as he can. Turns out, got a 3 year deal. So I don't know.
Yeah, Tom, what do you think about Boris?
I think he's the smartest agent ever. And you just look at these some of his clients: Gerrit Cole, Carlos Correa, Anthony Rendon, Steven Strasburg, Bryce Harper, Max Scherzer, like Corey Seager, who's part of Bryce Harper's $300 million deal,
Hmm.
Corey Seager's $325 million deal, Gerrit Cole's $324 million deal. Like this guy's he's a genius. As like scummy or slimy he might be from a baseball standpoint and what he does for his clients, he's one of one. Like nobody compares to him.
It's him and the equivalent of Rich Paul to him of the NBA. It's he is the top guy for MLB, and that's the greatest part about him. He has these A-list clients. He has these top clients.
And he performs
Hmm.
every time. He's every time he performs. That's what's incredible. Like he has not flopped. I at least somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's flopped yet
I
on
mean,
Yeah,
somebody for a
you could
contract.
make the argument that he's flopped like with some of these guys like Bellinger and Chapman and Snell potentially. But he's always come through with the AAV at least, maybe
hmm,
not a long-term deal.
yeah.
But I mean, I fans love to hate on Boris. If I was a player, you know who my agent would be?
First
Scott
call.
Boris. Especially if I was coming,
Scotty!
yeah, especially if I'm going to be a free agent soon. Like,
Oh yeah.
why would I not want the best guy in the business? I mean, I did a little of Scott Boris research the other day. One, the guy was a walk-on college ball player and set
Ooh.
like he has numerous records at the school that he went to. Then he was I don't know if maybe he was on sign. I'm not sure if he was drafted, but he played in the Cubs and Rangers organizations, I believe. And then when he was done, he worked as a lawyer. He got his JD, his degree, and then passed the bar, and then worked as a lawyer in a different field. And
Yeah,
then
he was a third round pick from the
he was
Royals.
a third round pick as an undrafted guy. That's pretty
Yeah.
insane, right? Um, so Boris decided to go into being an agent. He signed the first $50 million contract, the first $100 million contract, and the first $200 million contract. So the guy does what he does. I am pro union. I am pro player.
Mhm.
Screw the owners. They should be paying the players more money.
They
Preach,
should
brother.
pay the boys. I mean,
Yes.
their money is there. They make how much in revenue? I have a thing I'm going to talk about later with the Red Sox in revenue. These teams make hundreds and hundreds of $1 millions every year, not just playing in the stadium, their TV deals, their gambling deals. There's so much money out there. These players,
Especially the gambling now.
oh my gosh, it's hundreds of $1 millions. They have exclusive partnerships now with each team and each MLB in general. It's crazy.
Right. How can you blame the players
No.
wanting that amount of money, right? The amount of players that even get to free agency is minuscule. So
It's so hard.
right,
It's so hard to get to free agency, and you're gonna get mad at them for them finally working their absolute tail off to get there.
Mhm.
You're gonna say, "Oh, take the mediocre contract, earn your respect,
right.
do your service time." Bitch, I did my service time. Pay me my money. Bring me my money.
Right. I agree, dude.
Fuck.
And I don't like when another discussion too. It's the fact that some teams will hold out and try to get an extra service year of these players. Like when they
Mhm.
won't bring guys up, like Chris Bryant was a big example of that. When the Cubs wouldn't bring him up until after
Right,
April
dude.
18th or the date of it, where they they want to manipulate these players so they can keep them longer. But guess what? They deserve to get this play right away, have an immediate impact on the team, and then just be able to be paid when they need to be because
I,
they're performers.
I think that's changing a little bit.
Hmm.
We've, which is part of the bad thing too, because we see these veterans being pushed out of the game maybe a little too early because the teams don't want to pay them, right? So they're just rushing up younger players. They're burning through pitchers.
Oh,
Every pitcher is getting like Tommy John every 5 minutes. Maybe we'll talk about that in a later podcast. But yeah, that was a good conversation, boys.
oh yeah.
Um,
Jumping back real quick before we
yeah,
start the next conversation, I was going to say I saw a report today about Yankees not going after or going after a player. There was a trade offer for Dylan Cease that the Yankees made to the White Sox pretty much right after. Yeah, today I saw it from good old Bob Nightingale, but I saw another report after that from it after that
mm,
they offered two prospects, but it did not include the pinnacle guy the Yankees feel like they need to see for the future, Spencer Jones. And I
right.
think teams want Spencer Jones right now, but they might be pivoting to something else. I guess that's what they're thinking right now, but that may not be Snell, as we saw that report earlier.
No, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so our next topic, we're gonna jump to the Brayan Bello extension here.
Hmm.
Um, what are your guys' thoughts on that contract extension for him and the Red Sox?
I think it's great for the Sox. I think at him too. I think it's a player and team friendly deal right now. We just talked about him actually in the last podcast about the Red Sox rotation and just how he's just becoming some younger star. And I think he deserved the money. I think the Red Sox are the smart option. Lock their young players up early. He's just turning 25. He had 2 years in the MLB, 157 innings last year after only like 60 innings the previous year, but a 4.24 ERA. And just they know they can work on this guy and become a top pitcher for the team and maybe the NL East. I think it's great.
How old is this kid?
He just, yeah, turning 25. I think he either is 24 or 25 right now, but it'll be 25 this year.
Awesome. Good for him. I'm happy he's getting his bag right now. And he's locked in for a little while. Good for him.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, I agree. If this contract, I mean, first of all, he's getting money for his life and his
Yeah.
for his family, so he's pretty much he's set. He's set for life. He doesn't
Hmm.
have to worry about much anymore, except just going out and performing for the team and for like his own legacy in a sense.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to worry about money.
You show
He
these
gets to have
guys,
fun.
yeah, you can have fun out there and he doesn't have to worry about pitching to a new contract right now. Like he has the ability to have some sort of stability, but proving what he can do and why he was worth that money.
But the nice thing for him with that contract length, it's only going to lock him up till he's 30,
Yeah.
31, so he can go out and get another
Hmm.
nice contract after. So I think it's good for both sides.
I don't even think he was a top prospect, really. I don't think he was ever top 100, too, which is sick to see that he's been able to perform how he has in the MLB
Yeah,
and just been able to get a contract like this.
yeah. I didn't hear about him at all. I mean, I'm not a Red Sox fan, but um, he kind of
He signed in 18 years old for 28 grand,
That's sick.
yeah. That's not that
July
much.
2017.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it for both sides, and I think Bayo has pretty high upside in my opinion too.
Hmm.
I think if you like butter knife his stats a little bit, before his last two starts of the season, he was sitting at a 3.71 ERA, so he
Yeah,
just blew up the last couple starts for him. So
Oh, or him and Devers from the same town?
they're from the same
that's
town in
sick.
DR.
I think that's what it says here. I'm reading an article in the Athletic.
Hmm.
That's
They
sick.
keep mentioning Devers and him. Like Cora keeps quoting like two boys from. I'm not going to pronounce the name because I'm going to butcher it, but Samana. That's definitely what it is. But yeah, and so I'm assuming they're
I think
both from
it's
the same place.
Yeah,
Yeah, they grew up
Devers
in
is
the same
still.
area.
Yeah, Devers is only, yeah, he's 27. He probably was definitely knew each other from years. That's sick.
Devers is super young too.
Uh,
Um,
Devers got the bag too. The Sox gave him. I mean, it is good that the Red Sox did these to these players. They walked on Xander, but they decided to lock him up for Devers, which is great for that
yeah,
team.
I know we've kind of touched on Fenway Sports Group, but besides this, I mean, which is not really that big of a contract at all, and besides the Devers contract, I guess you could sprinkle Trevor Story signing, which I didn't really understand for where they're headed. They haven't really been spending that much money on the Red Sox, the Fenway Sports Group. Yeah, so I don't know how much you know about this, Tom, but Fenway Sports Group has they own the Red Sox, Liverpool, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. So they're kind of spread out a little thin, and um, I don't know. It's an interesting business model. Obviously, they're raking in revenue, but they're not really putting it back into the Red Sox. So, where are your thoughts with that, guys?
I did some digging too. It's very interesting. They seem to be allocating their money in different ways, even though they still got one of the top revenue in MLB the past few years. They in 2022, I found the stats for that. They were third for revenue bringing in, and they brought in $513 million just from 2022, where they didn't even do amazing in that year. They didn't make the playoffs. So it's kind of crazy, but the way I don't know. There's different things it seems Fenway's doing spending their money on. I'm reading another article about it. They are conducting it's called the Fenway Corners Development Project. They're just going to reinvent and just change up a bunch of parts around Fenway Park.
Hmm.
They're making it's a $2.1 million square foot renovation they're doing, just changing about Langsdowne Street, Jersey Street, Brookline Ave, all around the stadium. Apparently, the cost is $1.5 billion and it's going to be finished in 2030. But I guess they're just trying to change up what they're doing. I don't know. It's
Uh,
weird.
yeah, that's interesting. I actually was looking on Reddit because I just wanted to see what Liverpool fans were saying. I didn't really look into the Penguins, but Liverpool fans had similar complaints to the Red Sox, even though they are sitting on top of the Prem right now.
Hmm.
Or actually, I think they're in second. I think
They're
Arsenal just
they're
took over.
Arsenal's in first. Yeah, it's because I
Arsenal's
know
in first.
yeah, Arsenal's
So
in first and they're tied with Man City for second.
they're definitely in the title race. But I think Liverpool fans are pretty upset with how the team's been spending money. Like they don't go after the bigger players that their rivals do because they don't have the same amount of funds. They don't have the oil money that a lot of those teams have. But the Fenway Sports Group seems to be really good with infrastructure. Like they kind of fixed up Anfield, which is where Liverpool
Hmm.
plays, and that seems what they're doing with Fenway too. These two like historical landmark destinations for sports. So it seems like they're really good with infrastructure, like kind of setting up a good system with the franchises that they own, but then they're not really willing to spend the extra money on making their team like extremely elite. Even though I know Liverpool has had a lot of success in the past like 8-ish years, and the Red Sox aren't even, I don't know, 6 years ago they won the World Series. So
Yeah.
I mean, they've been successful as an ownership group, but they're not pushing as far as other clubs are.
So I might have just missed something because I'm reading some stuff right here. But as of like 8 hours ago, Michael Edwards appointed to senior role with Liverpool owner Fenway Sports Group.
Oh.
Who's that?
I don't know. It's like a big thing going on right now, apparently. Sorry, I was just looking up recent freaking
He
news.
was promoted to what?
Oh, he's the FSG. Let me read it up.
Michael Edwards appointed senior role with Liverpool. I don't know who's I don't know. I don't know who
Oh,
Michael Edwards is.
he's let's see. Oh, he was a part of Fenway Sports Group for years, apparently in the side of soccer. He left in 2022, but became now just a part of the CEO for football for Liverpool. Let me see more
Interesting.
on him.
That's interesting.
There's some weird monopoly shit going on here, I feel like. There's like a lot of crossing of wires and shit that's going under the rug.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really follow hockey, so I have no idea what's going on with the Penguins, but
They're like in the mix for the wild card, but they've had stars over the years, but they were just purchased by Fenway, I believe in was it 2019, 2020?
mm,
They haven't been long owners of from John Henry and the Fenway Sports Group, but they missed out in the playoffs last year and they haven't really spent on top guys. They lost Marc-Andre Fleury, who was a top goalie for them over the
yeah.
past few years. So I don't think they are also spending the same amount of money that some of these other hockey teams are.
Mm. So they're following that same model, I guess. Um, I don't know. That's going to be interesting to follow because Red Sox fans are almost at the breaking point. I think
They're
I have
passionate.
some chance that they want to sell, or the fans want the team to sell, or the ownership group to sell the team. So
Oh, that would be crazy. I mean, especially this season coming in, how they've less spent that they should have. There could be a lot of problems and fans just either not showing up where they used to have such a streak of sellouts in that crowd. There could be just less crowds because they're just not competitive as other
right,
teams this year.
right. What was that thing that Red Sox fans were saying about Heim Bloom for such a long time?
He wouldn't spend. They were worried that he wasn't going to spend either because um he was big. They were big into him because of the Xander Bogaerts contract because he was refusing to give him money. And
More so the ownership group though, right?
well, yeah, he just didn't really make the deals that the fans liked. They made the playoffs was yeah they made playoffs 2021 made the ALCS, but that was the only trip they made as him as the general manager, and he pretty much got sent out.
I don't
I
know.
know Theo Epstein's back part of their group, I believe.
Yeah, he's like an advisor role, but
Hmm.
I feel like from what I know about the Red Sox farm system, it's in decent shape, and I feel like Heim was doing a decent job, or maybe even a better than decent job, and they kind of
Hmm.
just let him go before he was able to see it to fruition.
They
So
had good drafting. I know that
yeah,
because they
I
got
don't understand what
Marcello
they're
Mayer,
doing.
but fans really did just push him out of town. It's very crazy, but I know they just have now it's Craig Breslow, the former MLBer, which is also another conversation that I think it's really cool that former MLB players have now become general managers and are just part of team systems because you don't always see that in the league. You don't always see former players and not just money men, a part of groups. I think it is a cool thing that they brought him in, but he immediately did say they weren't going to spend money. Like that was one of his key
Yeah,
things right away.
he did say
He
that.
did say that. So
Mm. All right, so our next topic, the Joey Votto signing to the Blue Jays.
go
Minor
Canada.
league contract. So where do you guys stand on Votto to the Jays?
I think it's sick. I think the fact that hometown kid grew up as a Blue Jays fan his entire life. I know it's just a minor league deal right now, but I think it's pretty cool that he's at least given the opportunity to play and just have a chance to make an impact.
Tom, where do you stand on that?
I like it for him because I mean I don't know if he does this with any other team either. I think it's only strictly he does this with the Blue Jays just because of hometown kind of a thing. Like
Hmm.
I mean, think about it. If you guys were in his shoes, the only place you would do this with it would be where with the Mets if they were in his shoes.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I would absolutely do it with the Phillies and just say like fuck it. Like what if I like get brought up?
Yeah.
Not what if I will get brought up because I'm Joey Votto at some point whenever I want and just fucking like play a couple home games and call it a day.
it sounds like you think he's going to get brought up. No doubt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so too. I don't know. It's gonna be tough to make that roster because I mean you have Vladdy who is DH first baseman too. But I think he still can have an impact. I mean, last year's numbers weren't even bad. He only played 65 games, but he hit 14 home runs, 28 RBIs, 38 RBIs, and he still had an impact on that club and just was one of the top pieces where he was a clubhouse guy where everyone loved him in that area. So
Yeah.
I think that's just a cool piece where I think the Blue Jays might roll with it.
Yeah, and he said he wasn't fully healthy, like recovered
Hmm.
shoulder surgery. Was it rotator cuff? So
Yeah.
I mean, I know I how I recovered from my shoulder surgery. It took forever. It took after I was done playing to like fully be able to throw
Ay, ay,
at
ay.
least 75% of what I could before. So I know he probably wasn't at his best last year. So I do think he gets called up. I think
Hmm.
he's probably in the minors for 2 or 3 weeks. Um,
He still hasn't
I
played
don't
a
know what
spring
role
training
he's
game
going to have
yet.
with the team. I mean, Justin Turner is probably going to DH a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he's not going to play first base that much.
No.
Maybe to give Vladdy a blow. I mean, they also have Daniel Vogel back. So
Danny Burgess.
where does that leave Danny Burgers? Where does that leave him?
Well, Gerrit
Um,
Cole's final game potentially of the spring training was a Daniel Vogelback home run.
mm,
So
sure. I
The
mean,
Vogelback curse.
so do you think Vogelback gets released?
no, I think they'll try it out again with Vogelback. They'll not try it out again. They'll ride with him for a bit, I think. I don't
Mm.
think they'll just give up right away with him, but
Because
does give some fire under his shoes for Vogelback. Say you just
yeah,
got another DH lefty hitter right here. So
I think the smart move for the Jays would be to release Vogelback, sign JD Davis, and move with that lineup. Or not lineup, that roster construction. What do you think?
Why?
Because I think JD Davis gives you more flexibility, and you're
he
gonna
could
get
play.
the same thing from Votto that you would get from Vogelback with maybe more a little bit more speed on the bases, better
How much
defense.
would you pay him?
I don't know, five
I
million.
you can't give him more than 1 year deal. You have to just give the experiment of him. Yeah, that's another
It's a
thing we
me.
didn't talk about. They did just release J.D. Davis, was it this morning or yesterday afternoon? Giants, who talked all great about the new culture of San Francisco, and then I saw a report today that his agent was very upset with how they ran things. So
Really?
yeah, there was a report that his agent popped out that said they were very did a full 180 on him, and they were very upset with how the Giants handled the release of him.
Mm. Well, there was something that like they're getting away with paying him his contract because something with arbitration, which is crazy. I don't know the details of that, but I'm sure that's why the agent was so angry.
Oh wow, yeah,
Apparently,
no, they released him because
yeah,
of arbitration.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. The Giants used the loophole to screw over JD Davis. A fucking article by the defector.
And this is why players need to get their money when they can get their money.
Dude, that's insane.
I didn't realize that. That's nuts.
Yeah.
The article I'm reading came out 2 hours ago. This
Yeah.
is nuts.
So we have about
Wow, he's getting $1.1 million in termination pay rather than the $6.9 million salary that he could have gotten because of the arbitration, because they won arbitration.
that's
Dude,
up.
they're flooring this guy.
That's messed up, man.
Dude, the Giants, down with the Giants. I am over them. Holy shit, man. That's insane.
He didn't even hit bad last year. He hit 18 home runs, 16 RBIs,
He played 144
248.
games.
Yeah, he's got to get signed somewhere. I want the Jays to pick him up.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Let's look
Dude,
at
that's nuts.
that is crazy.
I mean, we have a couple more things to touch on. It looks like we have about 8 minutes left. It looks like the Angels and the Mets are the last two teams in on JD Martinez. Just got
I
that.
saw that. I saw that just before.
What do you guys think about that? Where do you think he's gonna go?
I would love him as a Met. I really would. I think he'd be great in the DH spot for the Mets. I think it would just be another stability. I don't think the Mets should run fully with the idea that I know uh DJ Stewart's going to primarily play when lefties aren't pitching, primarily just a right-handed. He'll be in there. And I don't think the Mets just want to roll with Vientos straight against playing. I know that he's going to split time with Beatty, but I think having that veteran presence in that clubhouse, he would probably be he'd be the oldest player in that clubhouse. It would be a great job for them to have playoff experience, just numbers that are great over the years. I mean, he still
Yeah.
produced last year. He got hurt, but he still produced.
Yeah. Um, I think I would like this signing. Definitely as a Met fan, I want to see the young players get a lot of run. Going to the Angels for him would just, I don't know, wouldn't do it for me. I want to see Vientos and Beatty get their shot, but JD Martinez is hurt a lot anyway. He would be invaluable to that team as a veteran who would give the young players some advice, especially Vientos and Beatty, who, I don't know, I would take anything I heard from JD Martinez.
Yeah.
Right.
Jumping back to another JD, I was just looking more into JD Martinez's. The team didn't talk with him. John Heyman reported an hour ago that the Mets are one of the teams that reach out to their old friend JD Davis. So
I think that would be stupid.
yeah, I don't like that reunion. I don't personally.
Martinez, I like that idea for
I do.
multiple reasons. Like you can move Vientos and Beatty into a platoon thing, if that's the case. And then yeah, as I said before, he's gonna get hurt anyway, so
Yeah.
they're gonna be
But
able to play at
like
some
you said too, you want that advice from a guy like that age, a guy who's been around for that long.
right. And he lengthens the lineup considerably.
Also, news about the Steve Cohen. He said that they he is fully given the go ahead to discuss the Martinez, and they're willing to go over his Steve Cohen tax to make this happen.
When did you see that?
This was just released like 2 hours ago.
Okay. I don't
So
like that was really released because I want to sign him for as cheap as possible.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I'm kind of going against my players, get your money, but JD already got it. So
Yeah, he's got
Wow.
a bag. I mean, he hit
Wow.
33 home runs last
Yeah.
year.
He had 100 RBIs last year.
oh,
Yeah, like he had
fine.
great numbers last
Woo! I
year,
would
dude.
like that as a Met, dude. As a Mets fan, I would like that signing.
I mean, he hasn't done it consistently 2 years in a row since 2019, but
He's
But
36. He's not 38. It's not like he's a 39-year-old guy
no,
who's
yeah,
just
and
like
to Will's point too, like you just like would be around that guy like a sponge and just absorb everything he says. Just like from a hitting standpoint, I know some of it's kind of like some people may not like it, but like, dude, I mean, the numbers speak for himself. His OPS has been a pretty freaking decent career average OPS 0.87, like pretty good.
that's really
Like
good.
that is
a
great. That's
career
really
career
good.
batting average is 287. Like, dude, come on. Like, listen to this guy. He knows what the hell he's talking about.
And
1,600 hits in 13 years.
who did JD Martinez learn from in Detroit?
Miggy.
Miggy. If you look at JD Martinez and Nick Castellanos swings, they're like as similar as you can get to Miguel Cabrera.
Oh yeah, wow.
Not anymore since he's been on the Phillies.
Yeah, he pulls a little bit more now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, in like 2022, he just got diced up with freaking sliders all day.
Pete Alonso method.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so last topic before we stop recording today. Jackson Holliday, should he start in AAA or should he start on the MLB roster?
Put him to the bigs, baby. Send him. Get him there.
I think he should get a little time in AAA. I think he should get a little taste of AAA. Just
If he was on the Mets, wouldn't you want him to start?
yeah, but I just think I really liked what the Orioles did with their prospects, but I do think the ability that they have so many talented prospects right now. Jordan Westberg, they brought up late last year, who played some AAA experience last year. I mean, Adley played a good amount of time in the minors too. They had these guys who they had the minor league experience before bringing up. It would be really cool, him in the bigs. I'll say that. And
Opening day.
I would not be mad, but I still think it's not a bad idea to have him just like a few weeks in AAA.
Yeah, I think I agree with Demetrius on that one.
I know.
But it is tempting.
It's so
It makes
tempting. It's
sense,
it's
but I
so
would
so
love it.
tempting.
I
It's
would,
so
dude,
tempting.
imagine Orioles Park opening day with that mother effer in the fucking lineup.
Oh my god.
Insane. I
Has,
don't like Orioles. I love the Orioles when they're so good, just because that park is electric when they're good,
It's so
dude.
dude,
cool.
it's a
It is so
beautiful
cool.
ballpark.
It is. It's gorgeous. I love it.
I've been once and I want to go back this year. And if they bring, I have to go back this year. It is such a beautiful place and just breeds baseball.
No, I love it. The Orioles fans too, they're like bought in. It's so, I don't know, it's different. I
Hmm.
love it.
They're back in, I think, especially with their prospects, Adley and everyone. They're back into this team, which is
Ownership.
great.
Uh, yeah, it's gonna be good. Hopefully they have a great season like last year.
Corbin Burns, they got their pitcher too.
Gonna do our season predictions next week. I think we'll cover divisions a little bit, not too much, and then we'll go over players and stuff. So thank you guys for hanging with us today, and we'll be back next week.
Oh yeah.